What a 24 hours it has been. We found out there are money magic machines in the government. And we'll go in depth on what I'm talking about there. Elon Musk said it's absolutely unbelievable. Some of the power that the government boards and the government cabinets and the government agencies have. And he said, you won't believe what they've been doing. And we're going to discuss that. Also, remember, we've left people on the space station stranded. And no one in America could actually get them. No one in the world could actually get them without the technology of Elon Musk. So he goes and gets them, even though people are dogging him out, even though politicians are ruining his cars, even though his dealerships are under attack, he still goes and gets stranded space station astronauts that the Biden administration left. We'll talk about that too. Also, we're going to discuss declassification. Trump drops a monster bombshell yesterday about 80,000 documents released. Not only that, Pete Hegseth, Department of Defense, comes out and says we're declassifying what? Something that could get Clinton in hot water. And then lastly, we'll discuss the judge. You know, the judge has been kind of the center of everything. There's been over 50 judges that are trying to hold up Trump's agenda. But we're going to talk about the one that tried to keep the Venezuelans here. You remember? We're going to talk about his family, his ties, his funding. Does this surprise you if all of a sudden we realize there's a conflict of interest? And there's some uber-rich billionaires who are behind it, who are saying we have to have money. We have to have money to keep these NGOs afloat because they're helping us do what we want to do across the world. This ideology and agenda that we've been funding, this will blow your mind. Stick around for this story because it is absolutely mind-blowing. Let's dive in. Hey guys, welcome to The Max. Thank you so very much for being here today. If you are new, please go down here, press subscribe, ring the bell. Give us a thumbs up. That means the world to us, and that helps us make sure, of course, that you're getting our information, but that you are helping this algorithm tell YouTube that this video is important. Our goal is to give you information that can help you, and hopefully we can gain common sense and wisdom. Now, if you hear all the chatter and chip, look at this. We don't have an egg problem here or a chicken problem because we raise our own. So that is chicks. So if you hear the little chirping, I promise you it's not me or my children. It actually is chicks. We have about 40 we've raised so far, so it looks like we'll be okay here at our farm. Now let's jump into the stories of the day. First, let's talk about what Elon Musk just said on a podcast with Ted Cruz. Now, I want to start off with saying this. I can't stand politicians having podcasts. I can't stand politicians giving us opinion on how they're going to help America because they've done nothing to help America. Now let's go over what Elon Musk just said about some of these departments, and then we're going to talk about the spaceship. Elon Musk, in this interview with Ted Cruz, he said he sees what he calls magic money computers within the U.S. government. It says, according to Musk, these systems located in the Department of Treasury, Health and Human Services, and Defense can issue payments without corresponding funds, meaning write hot checks all day long, basically, and can create payments and create money out of nothing. He stated that approximately 14 such systems have been identified in the government with significant discrepancies of government financial reporting. What this actually means is we don't know how bad of system of money or debts or problems we actually have. Because now what they're starting to expose is we've literally just been writing hot checks everywhere, and that the government just has to cover it. Well, the government can't cover it without turning around and printing money. Well, they can't print the money without having major inflation issues. Now, inflation is down. If you look at every index, every survey, and every study, inflation is going down. However, this attention brought to the fact that now we're just, again, spending money that we can't even have printed yet, and we got to print it, meaning this is a problem. Now, I love the fact of the oxymoronic conversation, the fact that he's having it with Ted Cruz. Now, Ted Cruz somewhat is a conservative, but the most and majority of Senate and Congress, both Republican and Democrats, love spending money. I love how they're like, well, you don't say. They don't have the money? Oh my gosh. Well, to be honest with you, a lot of these Senate and Congressmen on both sides of the aisle are the reason they don't have the money, and they're also the reason that they're blowing these budgets. Remember, allocations and grants. When the appropriations of Congress gives the purse and gives the amount of money that they can spend to all these agencies, nobody sticks to budgets. They just blow through them. Well, if there's no checks and balances and there's no one checking up on the money spent and there's no one actually balancing a budget and reconciling the checking account for the United States, then how do we know how bad a shape it actually is? Well, Doge just came in and Elon said, look, if we would just balance our checkbook, if we just realize reconciliation, we would actually see more fraud than we can even imagine. And this proves it here. He said, we have found 3 agencies, but really we found upwards of 10 to 15 of these money printing machines that basically just spit out fake money and quote unquote write hot checks to all these companies that our government has all of a sudden said we're going to pay, and we don't have the money. Oh well, who cares? We're not going to default. That's his thought pattern. That's what he said. He said, this is what we've done for so long. He said, and what blows my mind is people say I'm stealing from them or I'm taking their money away. No, we're actually not taking Americans' money away. We're not taking entitlements away. He said, we're not doing any of that. He said, what we're doing is just trying to fix the problems of waste and fraud that's been so prevalent in our government. And since no one's checked it, he said, what we've got is a bigger problem than we even realize because we've been writing hot checks and not even knowing where the money is coming from. He said, we don't know how bad of debt we're actually in. We don't know how bad it actually is because no agency is actually even passing audits to say we know exactly what we overspent. He said it's absolutely amazing how much waste and fraud there is. Now this is the same guy who literally just flew up to the space station to rescue 2 astronauts that the Biden administration could not get, that NASA could not get, that no other organization could fly and get. They left them stranded after an 8-day mission, and they've been up there for around 8 months, if I'm not mistaken. Now, this is the same time that all these people are threatening his life, burning his car dealerships down, telling you how dumb he is. AOC and Jasmine Crockett, who are now considered the front runners for the Democratic Party, are telling you how ignorant Elon Musk is. Now, I want you to think about that. You're talking about the man who is the richest man in the world, who just flew to the space station with his own personal company and picked up astronauts that America could not get. And that these other companies that are contracted, that are making billions and uber trillions off of you, could not go get. We have the person who is helping us the most is the one the Democrats are hating the most. And actually, it used to be the darling of the left. I guess that kind of goes along with the fact that the Democratic approval ratings right now are at its 10-year low. It said that they have went down 20%. Now, 10 years is probably way more than that, to be honest with you. It just says this last survey, their percentage of approval has went down 20%, while Trump has got an all-time approval rating, the highest he's ever gotten since he walked down the escalator in 2016. It's absolutely kind of funny. But this is not what we can keep on happening. We can laugh about it, but ultimately, what Elon Musk just exposed was the fact that we're literally just writing checks about money that we don't even have. It's not even budgeted. So we actually don't know how bad a shape we're in. And to be honest with you, he said our debt could actually go up even more, and our deficit could go up even more when we actually start true audits and realizing that we're spending more money than we even thought, and that's bad. Now let's go to this Chief Judge Boasberg. You know, the one that blocked the Venezuelan flight, which we still flew, ignored it. That was great. Listen to this. This was from Laura Loomer. It says, I have exclusively uncovered a massive conflict of interest involving this judge. Listen to this. The judge's daughter, named Catherine Boasberg, who worked for a 501c, again, these NGOs and these foundations, these nonprofits that all are getting federal funds. Listen to this. She worked for a group called Partners for Justice. Now remember that, Partners for Justice. She was part of this nonprofit to help move the ideology of Partners for Justice. Listen to what Partners for Justice did. Partners for Justice was organized to help illegal immigrants find ways and loopholes to stay in the country. Now listen to this. This is where it should scare you to death, and this goes back to where the magic money that Elon was just talking about. Partners for Justice is an organization derived of 76% of funding done by taxpayers, by government grants. This is the kind of stuff that you have got to pay attention to. So we are now funding. This is what Doge is so good at, and this is why they hate Elon so much. He's exposing the fact that these nonprofits and these NGOs and these foundations are literally taking our taxpayer dollars, our money, and literally using it against us to harm Americans. 76% of the money that went to this group that tried to keep people here illegally tied to a judge that did the same thing, which is a conflict of interest, which means he should be disbarred or at least impeached. Listen to this. 76% of it come from federal funds, meaning taxpayer funds. This is their impact. This is their mission statement. Partners for Justice is transforming the public defenders in robust networks, dynamic people-centered services that helps the incarceration, increases equity and inclusion, positively impacting the lives of the ones harmed by the cycles of incarceration, poor health, and poverty. Since 2018, they have connected thousands of people while stabilizing services that eliminated 5,000 years off of jail time for prisoners. Now, what that means is not only that they helped illegal immigrants, they've taken your taxpayer dollars and found loopholes to get criminals out of prosecution, jail, and prison. Now, you heard that right. While you're struggling to pay for your insurance, your eggs, your gas, and trying to figure out how you're going to live paycheck to paycheck, and how Walmart just came in to buy now, pay later because they realize people don't have any money. While you're struggling, your taxpayer dollars are going to literally bust people out of jail and prison, finding loopholes through interpreting of law, these lawyers who are literally ruining America, and paying for basically nonprofits to harm Americans and keep other people here that are not legal. Now you tell me why this judge is still sitting on the bench. Today's sponsor is actually very important to me, and I take it very personal. The last few days, we've been under a lot of storms, and now it's beautiful outside today, but it hasn't been like that. We've seen a lot of damage. Well, part of having Opus Solar, and this is just one of the units, this is the Exodus 1500. This little unit was so important because we were able to utilize it, take it to our storm shelter. We were able to have power, be able to get the news, get the weather, and understand how severe some of the storms that were coming were next to us. We were able to charge our phones. We were able to make sure that we had what we needed. Not only do we have this smaller Opus Exodus, we have the bigger units like the Mega 3 and the Mega 5. Do not miss out on this opportunity to not only save money, but to maybe save your life. Having alternative energy is so key, especially when you live in areas that deal with major storms, major hurricanes, and major power outages. One thing that we notice when we have this, not only do we have sustainable energy and alternative energy when our power goes out, we are always in the know of what's going on because we have the source of energy that gives us what we need. How important is it? Well, it charges very quick. It charges within 2 hours when you put it on a quick charge hooked into your wall. It's so versatile. The one thing I like about Opus too, since we already have a Mega 3 and a Mega 5, the smaller units use the same solar setups. So it can charge with solar, it can charge in the wall, it can charge to a car. Even though I have a propane generator and gas generators, it's so nice to be in my home to literally push a button, literally a button, to be able to get the power I want versus having to go outside, crank a generator in the bad storms. So for older individuals, this may be the absolute best source when it comes to energy. Well, Opus has a wide array of different solar options that could best benefit you. If you're going off-grid, if you're going outdoors camping, if you are literally in the storms like I was, this could be a game changer. Now, another reason I love Opus versus a lot of the other providers is what they call Opus Help. Opus Help program allocates 5% of sales revenue to support underprivileged communities. We have already supported over 200 helpees in 49 states. Opus also has the most affordable pricing. Thanks to the efficient supply chain and direct-to-consumer model, the price advantage is better than competitors. Another reason I actually have used this, their customer service. Opus has phenomenal customer support. When you have these plug-and-play units and something goes wrong or you can't have a cord or you need something else, to be able to reach out to them 24/7 is a game changer. Having customer support and being able to buy directly from Opus not only allows you to save money, but also knows that you can fix and get anything that you're needing real quickly. This unit is actually on as we speak. That's why I love this Opus Exodus 1500. 1500 watts, and literally it's on right now. You can plug whatever you want to it, and you won't even know it's actually charging your goods. I think about my generator. If you go back and watch some of my videos with my loud propane generator, you almost can't stand beside it. So yes, it has a place, but so does this solar generator. Do not miss this opportunity to check out Opus Solar. I'll leave a link below to some of their specials and also some of their best options that I personally have. Have the availability to protect your family, to enjoy the time outdoors, to have a power station that can suit all your needs. Check out the link below. Thank you, Opus Solar, for sponsoring today's video. You know what else they were funding? What they found out, a whistleblower shows the FBI secretly obtains Trump's cell phone over the last few years, getting information even back to 2020 to 2022. So again, the same people that are supposed to protect us is now going after the former president, which is now the president. But this is getting exposed because Patel is opening doors to say, look, they use government funds, government money, to secretly investigate people that are in America that has not committed crimes. All the while, we're paying for NGOs to get criminals out of prison. We're also now paying and funding the FBI to find reasons to criminally go after really conservatives and someone who is wanting to stand up for the people. Do you realize the craziness in that statement? Not only that, let's listen to what Mr. Bill Gates said. Bill Gates said, look, I'm warning Trump. I can't do this. I cannot fill global health funding shortfalls without USAID funding. Now, this rich billionaire who is supposedly the health expert never uses his own money. This is what you don't understand. You know, the Gates Foundation and all that. Most of that funding does not come from there. It comes from you and me. Listen to this. Bill Gates is personally lobbying Trump administration, warning that he can't replace the funding because this America First policy is hurting his global health initiatives. Now listen to that. He says the quiet parts out loud. After 80% of USAID fundings were cut, Gates met national security councils and lawmakers to push for funding to help out with his global fund because he needs help to push his health initiatives across the world. Gates stressed the Gates Foundation can't cover all the billions. It needs federal funding. Did you want your federal funding to go to all the other countries to fight this global health initiatives that has been pushed for so long, and what we've realized it really hadn't helped our quality of life? What did we talk about a few weeks ago? The average person and longevity and mortality of the individuals have not gotten better, even with all the billions and trillions we've spent on pharmacology and on health initiatives by people like this. Also, I'm going to blow your mind. Another billionaire, our good friend Soros. Soros-linked network behind lawsuits attempting to stop Trump from deporting all these illegal alien gangs. So, you know, that same judge that was trying to stop the flights, you know, the 50 judges that are now trying to hold Trump to court and to try to get him basically to keep funding fraud, to keep people here without deporting. It's literally linked to an NGO that we're funding again, that's tied to the Soroses, that they're also funding to try to destroy America. Why do we allow people like these billionaires who, it's amazing how they get passes. Soros and Gates get passes, and they're taking our money, taking our taxpayer dollars for their NGOs and for their health initiatives, taking taxpayer dollars now. While Trump and Elon, who you may not like, has not taken a red cent of salary and literally just rescued the people out of the space station. And remember, today Trump dropped this announcement that he is declassifying all the JFK files, 80,000 files. Pete Hegseth, part of the Trump administration, is declassifying the Benghazi files today. Now, you may not like them, but when you talk about which billionaires are serving the population better, would it be the ones that are taking money from you, that is locking in your home during lockdowns and telling you how bad the world is going to get, and also trying to work against your government with your own money? Or is it the two that's not taking money from you, that's actually trying to give you freedom and expose the fraud and waste? I mean, this should be a very easy answer. I think that's why we see new reports of the Democrats failing, and we see new reports that AOC and Jasmine Crockett are now the new faces of the Democratic Party. I hope they stay the faces of the Democratic Party, because if that is your leaders for the Democrats, they're going to double down on more leftist policies, and it's actually going to make Trump and Republicans and conservatives look better. Now, let's go back to what I started off with. Elon said there's money printers still going on. The situation is this. While your congressmen try to sit on the side of Trump and on Elon, they're still blowing your money like crazy. So pay attention. Don't lose sight of that. Now, another good story, and then we're going to kind of end this up. Well, nobody's thinking about the border anymore because Trump has so-called got it fixed. Well, here's the numbers. This is crazy. I mean, this is really crazy. This is actually off of 2 different sources. It says illegal migrants released at the border by Border Patrol after the apprehension. February 2024, meaning Biden administration. From the first of the year to February 2024, 76,924, meaning that was the people that tried to cross, the Border Patrol had to apprehend. Now, that's not talking about the ones that came across and the Border Patrol missed. Now, listen to this. Illegal migrants released at the border by Border Patrol after apprehension, meaning they are trying to cross and they get arrested. There's only been one that has actually been apprehended and absolutely tried to cross the border, and they busted him. 76,000 by this time, by January to February of 24, compared to 1 during the Trump administration. It shows people know that Trump means business and the border is getting locked down. Some good things are happening. But again, if we have these judges that are still being crooked and they're being funded by the Soros, the Gates, the NGOs, our taxpayer dollars, if we keep having these cause problems, Trump's got to ignore it. And guess what? I don't know if we can trust the Supreme Court to stand in and actually say these judges can't overrule the President of the United States. And do you realize what's happening? You have local, small federal judges that were appointed by one man, usually Biden or Obama, that literally wants to stop the movement of foreign policy by the President of the United States, wants to stop the fraud that the President found and wants to still pay into fraud. As a legal lawyer and scholar, he wants to release the money to fraud. Now think about those 2 things and you tell me how that even makes sense, even to a leftist liberal. How can they even spin that to make sense, that they want to keep gangs here and keep money going to fraud? Andrew Wiseman, Mr. Wiseman, look him up, FBI General Counsel, used to be, former, under the last administrations before Trump. He actually, as the FBI General Counsel, former FBI General Counsel, I want to make sure I say that right, he literally is he's going on news right now trying to say that the judge was right and we should keep these criminals here. The FBI General Counsel is what he said. So your taxpayer, actually, you as a taxpayer, paid his salary and he retired, and that's the kind of people we had in leadership. The same people that were trying to crack Trump's phone, the same people that are conservatives that are targeting conservatives now, the same people that were now trying to keep the gangs here are the same people that you and our taxpayers have been funding. You know why they hate Elon Musk so much? It's because he is rooting out all this. And I think that is the truth. And to be honest with you, no matter if you love him or hate him, Trump and Elon are doing good things for America. The Treasury Department, Scott Bessent, the same guy that whistle blew on Hunter Biden and told the truth, and again, nobody did anything about it. Guess what? He got promoted into the Treasury Department to find loopholes and problems with the IRS like he found for Hunter Biden. So they're trying to look for good people to do their job. The same people that did their job and tried to hold people like Biden's feet to the fire, they're promoting them and saying, look, we want them to be in leadership because they were willing to stand up against the machine even when it wasn't popular. And now he just was promoted. Part of the Treasury Secretary of trying to be transparent and find the loopholes and the problems in the IRS. It's kind of like the AFK thing with the intelligence. For the longest, she worked to try to find the dangers of the black budgets. Now she's over them. These are good moves, and this is what we consider what we voted for. We voted for funds to be exposed, people like the billionaires not to get our money, our taxpayer dollars not going to things it shouldn't be going to. This is what we voted for. And so far, today has been a good day. I hope that you enjoyed this video. I hope that you got a lot out of it to really just to show what Elon Musk and Trump is trying to expose. You're seeing true leadership from this administration. And then you're also seeing how Jasmine Crockett and AOC are becoming the face of the Democratic Party and telling you how bad Elon Musk is. All the while supporting people like this judge who has literally conflicts of interest with his own daughter and getting federal funding to hurt us, along with Soros and Gates. Pay attention to these stories, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Check out the sponsor of today's video. This was a big deal for us the last few days because of all the storms we've had. We lose power like crazy because of the spring showers in Mississippi is like storms. And so one thing is having protection and sustainability is good. Even down to these chickens. That's called sustainability. We're getting like 40 eggs a day. So like right now our eggs are like 5 or 10 cents each. Guys, thank you for watching. God bless.